Due to the graphic nature of this video, viewer discretion is advised.
Alright guys, Papa Pepper back again. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like shooting fish in a barrel without the barrel, assuming I can find some fish. I think, you know, in my opinion, and I reserve the right to be wrong, in my opinion, one of the most underrated food supplies in the United States would probably be carp. These days they've got a bad name. A lot of people eat catfish, other things, but they won't eat carp. And they're pretty much like a big golden goldfish of the wild. They were originally brought over, I think, from Europe over to North America, and when they were brought over as a food supply. So I did know a variety of people of Asian ethnicity back up in Wisconsin who would definitely use them a lot as a food source. I do know some people who smoke them or like pickle them in cans and stuff like that. We have not personally used them much as a food source, but we're looking into it. Definitely looking into it. So right now they're all up in the shallows down by the lake. At night the big boats are out there with the spotlights everywhere, people bow fishing. Just drove by earlier, I saw them splashing around in the shallows. Back up in Wisconsin we'd just jump on them, bare hand to catch them or use a net, and it was a lot of fun, especially as a kid. I mean, the biggest carp I ever caught, I caught barehanded by jumping on it and kind of wrestling it. Pretty fun. So I've got a bow that's rigged up for bow fishing. It's got an arrow on it, it's got a reel on it. I've never really shot bow before, which is part of the reason I bought a crossbow for deer hunting, just because I didn't really have time to learn bow hunting. So I'm gonna bring a bow out for about the first time in an actual hunting situation. And really, I mean, like I said, I've definitely spent a good amount of time this life just grabbing carp and netting them. So if you're close enough where you're grabbing them with your hands or netting them, I'm pretty sure I can just kind of walk up right next to them where I shouldn't really be missing, but I've never really had to pull one in on the string or things like that. So we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna see what happens, and you guys get to join me for my first time bow fishing ever. And just so I've got some backup, somebody to keep an eye on me, make sure nothing goes wrong, nobody gets hurt, I don't shoot an arrow through my foot or who knows what. I brought Red Pepper with me because she's old enough to take care of business, notify Mama if we've got some issues, you know, use a phone, that type of stuff. So it's always good to let people know when you're going or where you're going, when you plan on being back, and bring backup if possible. All right, let's get to the lake. So when we arrived at the lake, the first thing I did was to get the GoPro ready by electrical taping it to the bow and hoping I'd get some good shots that way. In the background you may hear some people talking. A couple of local cops got their truck stuck in the mud, so it took them a bit to get it out and they had to call a wrecker. Careful, John. As I was getting ready, this guy just down the shore shot one while we were there.
Yeah.
So for the most part, this is kind of a patient stalking and waiting game. Thankfully, I've got a lot of experience being out in the lakes and the swamps, trying to sneak up on turtles, snakes, fish, you name it. I kind of like to get in there and try to get it. So it was a bit of a waiting game, carefully observing everything, being patient as you watch the fish move around. If you spook one, you can spook them all. So finally, I was able to see one that was in range, and having never shot before, I took my time trying to line up a good shot and let her rip. Fortunately, I missed the first one. So after a bit, I crossed the channel and noticed one near the shore. I slowly snuck up on it, took my second shot ever with my bow, and I got it. So 50% accuracy. Crept up slow on it and definitely paid off. This is my first one ever bow fishing. Wow, that worked out pretty well. I'll have to try that again. Always keeping my eyes open and paying attention to my surroundings, I found a fishing lure as well, which happens rather often down by the lake. I've got quite a good collection of just finds. Alright guys, so first time taking this bow out. Like I said, I think my brother gave it to me, and I just mounted the GoPro right up there on it. Gave it a shot. First one I missed. Second one I got, and then the third one I hit in the head, so it didn't really stick. But as far as common carp are concerned, I mean, this is a pretty good size one. I hit it right in here. Y'all can make that out, but decent enough fish. We'll see what we do with it for eating, but definitely happy to at least get something my first time out, and we may try one more spot just because we can. Check this girl out. We get down here, first thing she does is jump in a puddle, start trying to catch stuff. So this place is a little more secluded. There might be some spots up there where we can find something. Maybe not. We're gonna give it a go and we're gonna see. Right, child? Yeah. What'd you get?
Nothing but...
Nothing yet. Let's go check out what we got. So these parts are always the interesting parts for me. This is pretty much cut off from the main one, but it's usually a good place to find turtles and snakes. Look at all those frog eggs there. It's a good bunch of toad, probably. This place is probably singing at night. Oh yeah, look at all those. That's just solid eggs down there, girl. Woohoo! Be a tadpole party later. But up in some of this water up here, I'm thinking there may be carp by the side of it. We'll see. Something's in there, a little minnow. So I'm not expecting to find anything here, but on this other side there could be some sloughs. You can see already that far from the vehicle. So the parking was better at the first place. Let's just take a peek. What are all these? Are these people's fillets? Man, I hate it when they do that. All those big white things down there. There's fillets from people's fish. Catch a bunch of fish, fillet them up, drop the fillets out in the water. Yeah, it could be good for turtles. We'll see what we can find. Okay guys, we're getting kind of swampy. This is some stuff some people really don't like, but I like it because this is where everything's alive. This water is so warm. Everything's so alive, and actually This video camera is gonna die. I forgot to switch batteries of the truck. At least I charged up the GoPro on the way. There's stuff swimming up here. I'm gonna see what I can do. Yep, there it is. We'll see. So this was the spot I was definitely looking for. When we got here, it was shallow water, it was warm, there was carp everywhere. It was an excellent idea to come here, and sometimes you were just surrounded by them and wish you had more than one bow. Overall, I probably had about 33% accuracy, where 1 out of every 3 shots I would actually stick a fish. But as you can see from this kind of mashup, there's quite a bit of practice and a lot of learning that went into it before I was able to get some good shots.
Let's go!
you guys ever think about doing anything like this, look at this. This is so heavy. My truck is way over there. This is ridiculous, somewhere over there. I can't even see it from here. Oh, it's a good workout for Papa. Do you remember how I pointed out how far away my parking spot was on the way out? If you're planning on doing this, man, find a closer parking spot. I had to take a break and walk back and then get a bucket and split the difference, but wow. Well, I got my work cut out for me cleaning them now. You want to come out at night?
Yeah.
So honestly, I think it was great to go to the second spot. And my ratio kind of stayed about the same. The first time I had, you know, a miss, a hit, and one that I got all the way in. So out of 3 shots, I got 1 fish. The ratio stayed about the same. When I got to that second spot, man, they were just everywhere. And part of it was kind of just the excitement of the whole thing. It was just so exciting to have them all around, and my fingers were constantly wet, so it was hard to kind of keep the string pulled back and not have the arrow slip off the knocking, you know, off the rope and stuff. It was the bowstring. It was a little messy there for a bit, but eventually, I mean, I kind of really got it dialed in, where I was hitting them on a very consistent basis. I could find them in the shallows, so aiming was a little bit easier. I could just walk up to them and pretty much at a distance. There were some nice ones I had at a good distance shot too, where I was starting to do a little bit better taking care of just learning how to aim. So for my first time out ever, I think I did great. We've probably got 13 or 14 that we're taking home with us. I'll spread them out and show you guys them in a minute, but pretty exciting, pretty good. We had fun. Red Pepper had fun. We may go out after dark tonight and try it. I'm sure the spot I was just at would be fantastic. It's just such a long walk. I think I might see if I got an old backpack I could pretty much just stuff with fish. And then once that's full and a 5-gallon bucket's full, maybe just call it quits. But I've got some people I know from Steamit called Mountain Jewel up in Missouri, and they either can or pickle a bunch of them when the bow hunters go out bow hunting carp. So I'm gonna see if I can't look up their old recipe on that, and just part of kind of eating and harvesting in season, where if I can get a ton of carp right now, there's really no reason not to. And if that's the case, then, you know, let's get a year's supply of whatever we want to do, and eventually I'll get a smoker up hopefully too, and we can have smoked carp. But for now, I can pickle some, I can can some. They used to pickle the suckers up north, and they would the bones would kind of dissolve eventually, kind of almost like salmon or tuna when you got the bones in there, but you can eat them. So that might be helpful with these carp, and I don't know. We'll keep you posted on how it works out. But morel mushrooms coming in right now, greenbriers, all sorts of food from the wild, henbit and dead nettle and chickweed like crazy, and now the carp are coming into season. So just kind of a different way to eat, different way to live, just trying to kind of eat in season. And it also kind of took me back too to kind of like the spear fishing, and I don't know if the natives did any bow fishing too. I imagine they must have or might have, but just a whole different type of catching fish. I mean, I've netted them before, I've hand caught them before, I've hooked them before, you know, with a fishing pole, but to be bow hunting them was just a completely different thing. Very cool, and a great new experience for me and for you, right, child?
Yeah.
So guys, here we go. We got a dozen, it looks like. So I'm gonna get those cleaned up here, keep the flies off them, and we'll see. Soon enough, we'll have to head back out, try for some more. And like I said, it's just part of providing our food supply, eating local, being able to harvest whatever's in season, making the most use of it. And I'm so glad my brother, I think it was my brother, gave me this one, all set up and ready to go. I gotta take a picture and send it up to him. Maybe he'll check out this video too. But what do you kids think?
Good.
Pretty good job, huh?
Yeah.
They're pretty big, ain't they?
Yeah, especially that one. That one I think.
Let's hook up the hose so we can hose these guys off, keep the flies off them. Alright guys, Papa out.
As always, I'm Papa Pepper, and I'd like to remind you, don't post for free. If you'd like to be part of a revolution in social media, an economic power to the people where users can actually blog for cryptocurrency, then I'd recommend that you check out steemit.com and join the revolution. Papa out.